Today I'm going to show you how to build any size miniature tote rack. These are perfect for kids' rooms, closets, storage closets, garages, or anywhere else you may need a little organization. You can sand them, paint them, or just leave them as raw wood. Because it's a much smaller size, the versatility is pretty much limitless. Now this build is slightly different than the large tote rack that I made earlier, and I made a few mistakes along the way, which I'll be sure to share. But let's start with the materials that you'll need. We're using the 6.5 quart totes by HDX, which is simply Home Depot's brand of products. It should also fit a number of different brands, which I'll list in the description below, so you're not obligated to use these. I'm using 2x2s since this is going in my kids' room and I don't plan on them holding very much weight. And it's important to note that modern 2x2s are actually only 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So remember that when you're drawing out your plans. You're building with a 2x2, but you're designing for a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. I'm also using a nail gun to attach everything, and then I go back and I screw everything into place. This is optional and you can just go straight for screwing everything in, but admittedly I have a tendency to mess that up because with such small pieces of wood, it's easy for pieces to shift if you don't have them clamped or held down really well once you go to screw them in. So I'm using a brad nailer to start, but this is a personal preference. I use a circular saw, but you can also use a chop saw or even a handheld saw if you don't have power tools. The pieces are small enough to cut through, but it will be a little bit more time consuming. I also use a cordless drill, 2-inch and 3-inch deck screws, some exterior screws, speed square, and a tape measure, but that's pretty much it. Now let's start with the overall concept of what it is that we're building. Essentially, it's 2 square or rectangular frames that are held together by the supports. The supports are what the bins of these totes are going to sit on, and that's it. So let's look at how we find the measurements. To build this, you're only going to need 3 different size pieces, and to put this in super easy terms, they are your horizontal pieces, your vertical pieces, and the supports that, again, the totes are going to sit on. Now first, let's find the overall size of the rack by finding our length times width times height. For the length, you need roughly 11.5 inches per bin, and that's from the start of one piece to the start of the next. So your length is going to be 11.5 inches times the number of columns that you want plus 1.5 inches. This is going to be your overall length as well as the length of the horizontal pieces that you're going to cut. And this makes sense conceptually because if you need 11.5 inches per bin, once you get to the end, you're going to need an additional 1.5 inches for that last vertical piece. And you'll need to cut 4 of these pieces. Since you're making 2 frames, each frame gets 2 pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom, and that's where the 4 comes in. Now your width, or your depth in this case, is always going to be 13 inches. No matter how big you make it, the easy part is you can keep this measurement standard. The cut and the depth is going to be 13 inches. And you'll need 2 of these pieces per bin, one on each side. So if you have 9 bins like me, you'll need 18. And if you have 20 bins, you'll need 40. 15 bins, you'll need 30, so on and so forth. Now I recommend 7.5 inches of height per bin. This rack has 8.5 inches of height, and frankly, I think it's a little bit too much. 7.5 inches is ample, and it'll cut down the overall height of this. So if you need 7.5 inches of height per bin, then your height is going to be 7.5 inches times the number of rows that you want plus 3.5 inches. And the 3.5 inches is to give you 2 inches of space at the top to slide the tote in and out, plus it accounts for the 1.5 inch horizontal bar that sits at the top. Now the size of the piece that you need to cut is simply the total height that you just determined minus 3 inches. And that's because the vertical piece sits in between 2 1.5 inch horizontal bars, one at the top and one at the bottom. So to get the size of that piece, we simply subtract 3 inches from the total height. Now to determine the number of vertical pieces that you need per frame, you'll take the number of columns that you have and add 1. This will give you the total that you need for 1 frame. But since we're building 2 frames, that total is going to get multiplied by 2. So don't let this confuse you. The formula is simple. You're going to take the number of columns, add 1 to it, and then multiply that number times 2. So I have 3 columns. I'm going to add 1. That'll give me 4, multiply it times 2 because I'm building 2 of these frames, and I need 8 total vertical pieces. If you had 10 columns, then you would have 11 vertical pieces per frame. Multiply that times 2 frames, or you would need 22 of these vertical pieces. Make sense? And now that we know how to measure and we know how many pieces of each size that we need, it's time to put it together. We'll start by building the two frames. Start by putting the horizontal pieces and the two outside vertical pieces together to make a square or a rectangle. Attach them with screws or, again, the nail gun like I did prior to screwing. Continue to use a speed square or some other right angle to ensure that your corners are 90 degrees, or else the totes might not fit. If you have two vertical pieces that are going like this, the bin might not sit, and if they're bowing inward, then they might get pinched and not fit inward. After the outside border is created, add the vertical pieces, again spaced 11.5 inches from the start of one piece to the start of another piece. The interior space of this measurement is 8.5 inches, but you really don't need to use this unless you're just confirming or checking your spacing. Once you've added all the vertical pieces, you're going to repeat the process and simply build it again. And from here, all you're going to do is stand them up next to each other and add the supports. It's very helpful to do this on a hard surface. I built mine on this artificial turf because I wanted the shade spot in my house, but it did pose some additional challenges, so I definitely recommend a hard, flat surface. I also recommend securing the corners with some supports first in order to hold it in place as you add the other supports. Now for every 7.5 inches, secure a support at the line. It shouldn't sit on top of the line, but rather the top of the wood support should be right at the 7.5 inch mark. Use a level and continue to ensure that they're straight all the way across. It's also helpful to mark each one of your 7.5 inch places prior to assembling it and doing it all at the same time for consistency, but that choice is yours as well. Now once you've done this, it's time to add the screws if you haven't done so already. Again, I'm using 2-inch and 3-inch deck screws, which are great for pulling wood quickly and it prevents splitting, but I'm also using exterior screws, or if you have general construction screws, that'll be fine too. You really just don't want drywall screws because they're brittle and weak compared to the other screws. But that's it. You can customize these by adding panels of wood to the top or on the side. You can add hooks or shelves, and as I mentioned earlier, you can paint them or stain them or just leave them as is. The important thing is you make it exactly how you want. But in any event, I hope this was helpful. Reach out anytime for questions or concerns, and have a great day.